Okay, so we're going to talk about Sosa's training so we can stay consistent at home. So we are going to first start off by turning on the remote collar because that's the first thing that we're going to do in the morning. We're going to turn the remote collar on and then put it on Sosa. That way we can communicate with him throughout the day and we have that access to be able to show him, hey, that's right or that's wrong. So to turn on the remote collar, we have the red dot right here. That is a magnetic key. The matching magnetic key is on the remote itself. On the side, you'll see the matching red dot. What we're going to do is touch those together, and that's going to turn Sosa's collar on. You'll see a green light. The green light will flash every few seconds to let you know that the collar is on, charged, and ready to go. Then we need to turn on the remote separately. So on the back of the remote, you'll see the on-off button in the middle. We're going to push and hold that until the screen lights up, and then you can see the screen lit up and everything. And then we have on the side here the black S button. That's going to be the primary button that we're going to use for Sosa when we're telling him that, hey, that action was incorrect. So let's start off with just basic obedience. Whenever we take Sosa for a walk, we're going to have the remote collar on. It's going to go on first thing in the morning and then come off at night. So if he's walking with us, great, he's in the heel command. So heel means walk next to us. We're going to use this for all trails. Anytime we walk him, 90% of the time he should be in the heel or heel position, and then the other 10% he can be free, which is where he can sniff and go explore. So if he is right next to me and then he chooses to try and walk too fast or go anywhere other than just walk next to me in a loose leash heel position, I'm going to say no, push the black S button, and then remind him heel. So what I'm telling him is, hey, that action's incorrect, here's the consequence, and then I'm reminding him of what's appropriate to do. While you're walking him, you're also going to have him on the prong collar. So how to put this collar on. This is just for when you need to have Sosa on a leash, so whether people are coming over or when you're taking him for a walk. You will steady one of the prongs, and you can take them apart anywhere. I just choose a middle one. And then with your thumb, you're going to push down and pop the prongs apart. To put it on Sosa, you're going to pinch this prong and put it in like that so it all lines up. While he's wearing it, you're going to attach the leash to the D-ring, which is the one that swivels and it has a flat edge. So while he's walking next to you, you have the leash in your hand. So I have the leash in my left hand typically and then the remote in my right hand. When he tries to walk too far ahead or anything like that, when you say no and give the correction with the remote, with your left hand you'll also give a little tug and release. There should not be constant pressure on the prong collar. It is a quick tug and release and then remind him heel. Don't have constant pressure because that will end up leading to him pulling on the leash, and then when he's pulling on the leash, if he feels that pressure and then looks at someone, he's going to think it's their fault that he feels the pressure. So we have to be very clear that when he does something that isn't appropriate and we correct him, that it's coming from us, not anybody else. So no, pop and release. That way he understands that the correction is coming from us because he didn't do the command, not anybody else. So that's heel. Same thing for sit or down or any of the other commands. So if you stop and ask him to sit and he's like, no thanks, no, sit. So he's at level 10 right now. That's pretty low. This will fluctuate with him because sometimes he's a little bit more sensitive, sometimes he's not. So just kind of play around with it a little bit, and at the end of the video, I'll show you how to do all the other features of the remote collar. That way you know how to turn the levels up, down, or anything like that, because right now if you see the level 10, it's not changing because it is locked in place, so we don't accidentally turn it up too high on Sosa while we're using it. So around the house, you can have this around your neck. When people are coming over, definitely have Sosa on place. So when we talk about, we have heel, we have sit, those kind of go hand in hand. When you go through doors, when you're going outside to take Sosa for a walk, have him sit first to practice that door manners. What that does is just help him know that you are guiding him and to follow your lead versus him trying to be the leader and then getting nervous. So when people come over, we're going to practice down or place, preferably place, but if you don't have a place bed, you can do the down stay. So we put him on place, and like in the videos you've seen before, when guests come over, you're standing with Sosa with the leash in hand. That way, if he does get reactive or anything like that, you can immediately correct. He has not done that, but we want to just be prepared just in case. So your guests walk up, very non-threatening, toss a few treats on the bed. Of course, he's not wearing the muzzle in this scenario, and then they kind of mind their own business, and then you can actually leave Sosa on place while you visit with the company that's over, and you're kind of a little bit away, like on a couch or whatever, and then just occasionally reward Sosa for doing a good job and staying put on the place bed. So the rules of place, he just has to hang out there, no getting off until he's told so, which is the free command. We don't free from a distance. So let's say he did a really good job and you want to put the muzzle on, you want him to get closer to your guests so he can get used to them. You'll tell him free. You can put the place bed up or just go away from it, put his muzzle on, and then you can have him sit or down next to your company or near your area so he gets used to them and gets familiar with them just kind of being around and existing. So with down, if he gets off of place or if he vocalizes or does anything like that, we're going to say no place. So we correct the behavior of him trying to step off the bed or whining or anything like that. Then we tell him what he's supposed to do. So mark the behavior with the no, give the correction, follow through with the command. You also have this if needed. Definitely have him on a leash whenever company's over. That way you can tug him back to the bed, because let's say he gets off and then wanders around. No, pop, pop, back to place. When we release him, like I already said, just make sure you go back to him. Good place. We always end on a good note when we're training with him. We don't end on him being not successful. We end on him being successful and getting it right, getting a treat, good job, then tell him free. Don't free from 10, 15 feet away. Then we have down stay. So down means lay down and stay. So you can have him sit first, or you can just tell him down. If he does, great. If not, you're going to use the leash a little bit. So you're just going to tell him no, tug gently down. And again, it's just a little tug and release down until he lays down. And again, if he gets up before being told free. So the stay is implied with sit, place, and down. So when you tell him any of those three commands, he has to stay until he's told free. So you'll see in the video when he's in the down stay, I give him verbal reminders. What that does is it reminds him, hey, I'm basically saying stay again without him having to memorize another word. So then he understands that when I tell him free, the release command, that's when it's time to get up from the stay. So we have him in a down with our guest. We're doing the rewarding through the muzzle. I don't want your guest trying to have to reward him, because it's kind of tricky to get the treat in the muzzle. So they can just kind of be around and you're giving the treats when he has the muzzle on. That way, again, he gets used to them. And if you're reading his body language and he feels comfortable, if he's like whale eyeing and holding his breath and licking his lips a lot, not just when he eats a treat, but just like in general, he's probably uncomfortable and your guest should not pet him. But if his ears are relaxed, his eyes are relaxed, then and his whole body is relaxed, then that's maybe a good sign where they can like get a little pet in while you're giving treats. That way he's understanding, okay, mom's good, or, you know, my owners approve of this, I'm getting a treat and I'm getting pets, perfect. And then don't do too much. That way he doesn't get uncomfortable. And then we have come when called. So whenever you practice this, definitely practice with some sort of long leash on first. We had a light leash on at the park. That way, if he did take off, we would have, you know, that leash to hold on to or grab so he didn't run off. So when you're practicing come when called, always have the remote. Always have rewards with you. That way you can tell him, hey, coming back to me is a good thing. So you tell him free. He can go sniff, explore. This is his time to just kind of do whatever. And then you call him to you. So you say, come. As he runs to you, praise, good boy, have him sit and reward. So we're praising the action of him coming to us and then actually rewarding when he finally does get to us. So it's come. If he does, great. If not, black S button, no, come. And you repeat the command. Again, have the leash on, because if he gets confused, if you're in a new environment, you can use the leash and just reel him in. We don't go to him when we call him. He needs to come to us. So have that leash just in case. And always end on a good note when you're working with Sosa. So whether that's with people coming over, let's say he has an incident where he barks at them or lunges at them. Don't end it there, because then he's going to realize, okay, well, if I'm done and I want to be done, then I just act like that and then I don't have to do anything anymore. Nope. Your guest or whoever set him off has to then come do the behavior again or do whatever they did that set him off, and then reward when he doesn't react. Then he learns, okay, reacting like that's not going to get me my way. Being calm, cool, and collected will get me my way. So just overall add more structure to Sosa's daily life. That way he has a more predictable schedule and knows exactly what to expect. And that way he can look at you for guidance. So we have heel, sit, down, place, and come. Those are his main commands. And then free, and then of course good boy and no when you're rewarding or when you're correcting. So that's what we're going to work on with Sosa to make sure that he can, go back into society nice and smooth. Whenever you take him out in public, if there's going to be a lot of people, have him wear his muzzle. But if you're going on more like a trail, have it with you and use it as needed. That way you have it if you need it, but if you don't need it, great. So those are his commands. We're going to go over the rest of this remote collar at the end of the video. So we're going to show you what Sosa can do. Most importantly, when you take him home, have fun and stay consistent. Down. Good job. Good. Down. Down. Good. Down. Good. Down. Good. Down. Good job. Good. Down. Free. Good boy. Hello.
Fine, how are you? Place. Oh, no stuff on your leash. Good boy. Place. Good place. Good place. Place.
Okay, so let's go over the other features of his remote collar. So we know how to turn the collar on and the remote on. Let's turn them both off and then we'll turn them back on. So to turn the remote off at the end of the day, so Sosa can wear this 10 to 12 hours a day, take it off at night. Well, he can actually wear it 14 hours, so you can have it on all day, take it off at night. To turn this collar off, you're going to tap and see a red light. This is now turned off. It can last about 2 days on a charge, so you can turn it off at night and then just charge it every other night. To turn off the remote, on-off button on the back again, push and hold until the screen is blank. Push and hold, we're going to turn that back on, and we're going to turn this on. They're separate to turn on, so one doesn't have to be on to turn the other one on. So it's just the magnet and then the button to turn this on. So let's talk about the red S button. This is for emergencies only. I don't think you will need this for Sosa, but let's say you're practicing come when called and you're like, he's been doing really good. Let's take the leash off and practice off leash. Do not do this around people or anything like that. Always practice with safety in mind. Let's say he takes off for the road or something like that and you call him back to you and he's not listening. You're like, no, come. And he's like, nope, there's a interesting item over there that I want to get to. The red S button is going to boost plus 10. So it's going to be a pretty big jump for him to snap him out of that. Haven't needed it for Sosa, but you have it just in case. So like we talked about at the beginning of the video, his level might change just based on him being more or less sensitive. So how to do that? This is the dial. So we're going to unlock it by pushing down and holding it until the 1D at the top is flashing. Then we can adjust the level to lower or higher. So let's say he's not listening at level 10, you would turn it up to 15 or something like that. 15 to 20, I don't think you would need that, but just in case. If 10 seems like it's too much, I would not go any lower than 8 because he can't feel it. He can just barely feel the level at 7. So I would not go any lower than that. When you have it on the level you want, then you push and hold it. And that locks it back into place so you can't accidentally turn it up or down. Over here we have the vibrate button. I use this to make sure that the collar is on before I put it on Sosa. So you can see it's just gonna just buzz. So when I turn the collar on, sometimes if you tap it, you'll then turn the collar off without realizing it. So I like to push the T button, which is vibrate, to make sure that before I put this on Sosa, it is working. That way I can again communicate to him when he needs it. On the back, the on-off button is also a flashlight. So instead of pushing and holding it to turn the remote off, if you just tap, it turns on a flashlight. So the first tap is a flashing flashlight, the second tap is a solid flashlight, and the third is to shut the flashlight off. You don't want to leave it on too long because then it'll run the battery down. On the back there's also an M/C button. You don't have to worry about that. That stands for momentary or continuous, and he's good on momentary, which just means the stimulation is either going to be a continuous tap or a momentary tap, and he's good on momentary. So it is rechargeable. It is waterproof, so make sure these rubber tabs are closed. That way it keeps dirt and debris out of the electronics. We have the quick snap, easy on, and it's not going to be too tight for him. For whatever reason, if this were to break or anything, you can just replace it with a hair tie. It just takes a screwdriver. They don't often break. I've just had a couple in the past kind of snap off. Charging port here. Again, make sure that's closed. This is waterproof, reaches up to a half mile. When he's wearing it, you want to put it anywhere underneath. And make sure you change that spot once in a while, because if you put it on the exact same spot for weeks at a time, and again taking it off at night, what could happen is a little collar spot, which is an irritation. So you want to make sure, like every 2 days, maybe you put it here and then you put it here, and then you kind of just switch back and forth. Again, I said it's waterproof. He can go swimming while this is on, but make sure that you take the collar off and dry him thoroughly, because if moisture builds up in there, it'll create a bacteria which could lead to a hot spot. In the box, we have his charger that can charge both the remote and the collar at the same time. They have extender prongs for long hair dogs, but he's pretty short haired, so he doesn't need the little extenders. But you have the tool here to tighten the little prongs on the remote. You shouldn't need to do that, but you have it just in case. This is the original strap that the collar came with, and then we have the instruction manual to go over all the buttons in greater detail at the bottom. This does have a 2-year full warranty, so if anything happens to it, you can get it replaced, and this is the company's information to contact them if you need to replace the model. And again, this is just the prong collar. Remember, when he's wearing it, it's the D-ring, not the circle, because if you watch the circle, see how it doesn't loosen like it should? Where this one, it will loosen like it should. So we're going to use these tools to stay consistent with Sosa. That way he understands that when we give him a command, he needs to perform it. If he does, great, treats. If not, we're going to give a correction and he still has to do the command regardless. So you want to make sure you just add more structure to his routine. That way he does better and isn't as anxious in certain situations. He's still going to have a little bit of anxiety, but we're trying to get better each and every day. So if you have any questions, let us know, but have fun and stay consistent.